Hello everyone, I'm Paul Garcia, reporting for the Paul Garcia Show. I'm in beautiful Uptown Normal today, and I'm going to be asking people if they think that a COVID-19 vaccine passport mandate would be a good thing or a bad thing. Do you think that COVID-19 vaccine passports should be required for us to get into like public places like restaurants, museums, and things like that?
I think they're definitely valuable. I think vaccines work, but there's a lot of misinformation about them.
I think it'd be hard for that to be like insinuated or like installed into public policy, because I know there's places that do require you to like show proof of vaccination if you enter without a mask, and it's still pretty easy to fake those like vaccination cards. So
Oh, is it? I did not know that. You can fake them.
yeah, I personally myself, I always wear a mask inside even though I am fully vaccinated, so I think it's just for public safety,
Just to be like considerate to others.
just to be considerate, and because nothing's 100%.
I kind of think it's a bad thing because they're just trying to force it on everybody, in my opinion, for their agenda.
Is
That's
it an
how I see
invasion of like privacy, do you think?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that. Because medical things, like you can't just go around asking people all those things.
I'm not a scientist, man. If it helps, then yeah.
Would you gladly show verification or proof that you are vaccinated to get into these places?
You gotta show your ID anyways to go into a bar. I don't see how that's any different, really.
I think that's just going overboard. I think people should get vaccinated, but at the same time, I don't think we should start mandating everything like that.
I don't think it should be mandated. Just personally, like I agree. I think everybody should get the vaccine, but I think we got to draw a line somewhere for what we force on people. So I don't know. I just draw the line there. It's for a good reason, but anytime the government's like forcing, so it's a balance, right, between like what liberties you give up for security, and so you have to decide like what balance you're comfortable with, and I don't know, I think it's too far.
Everything requires balance.
No, I think you shouldn't, because I just believe it's an option to get vaccinated and not. And if you want to like step inside a restaurant, you should just get tested at the end of the day. You don't need the whole vaccine. So that's why I believe like no, you shouldn't.
I believe it's personal choice too.
Paul Garcia, he's famous.
That's right. Wait, who's that?
I love your podcast.
Well, thank you so much.
In an ideal society, people would know not to come outside if they're not vaccinated, or like probably
Come outside?
not.
You can't come outside even?
No. I mean with the mask on, but without a mask on.
You can't come outside with the mask off. Mask's on. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Keep going. I
Yeah,
apologize.
but like I feel like we need the mandate until people get their together. So, can I say on this podcast?
Absolutely, you can. This is what freedom of speech is all about, man.
Yeah, I think that we should. I just think that it's important to just to limit exposure, as long as because we got the new variants popping up, and I think it's important just to have people mask up so that they're not in danger of spreading it to other people who might.
Masking up, yeah, but what do you think about showing proof and proving that you are in fact vaccinated in order to get into places like that?
I think that it's good. I think that people should be required to show it. Just obviously, if you say you're vaccinated, I'll probably believe you more times than not. But it would be nice to prove, just for the businesses not to be held liable or anything in case something happens.
I mean, I feel like kind of like what he said, in a perfect world, I think so. But I think just the way people are, I don't think that's probably going to not work out well.
Understood. All right, thank you. Did you want to say something else? Let's go back around. You got something else to say? Let's hear it.
Your question about privacy. I mean, since it's involving everyone, I think people should know if you're not vaccinated or not, just for their safety too.
Do you think that proof of vaccination should be required in order to get into public places like coffee shops, restaurants, bars?
No. It took them less than a year and a half to come out with this vaccination, right? Okay, what about every other disease that we've ever had? Some of them they still don't have vaccinations for. People are dying. They want you to have, you have a 99.7 chance to survive. You might as well go get chemo. Just make sure you don't get cancer.
Right.
People are getting sick from it. It's stupid.
It'd be stupid to require that you get it then.
Right. Biden and the rest of his cronies are idiots. They need to get the out of here.
Understood. Thank you very much.
I think probably not requiring it is probably a good thing. I mean, I like to see people get vaccinated, but I just don't want to go to that requirement, I think.
I haven't made a hard and fast opinion. I do think there's some people that cannot get it for real medical reasons.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So, you've got to have some kind of policy that, what do you do with them?
I don't think it's a bad idea, personally. I think it might create a shift.
A shift in like what way do you mean?
Well, if people are missing out on activities they'd like to be involved in, that maybe they would choose to say, okay, let me weigh cost benefit of vaccination and involvement in the public sector.
Right. Missing out on those things might encourage them to get the vaccine, is what you're saying, right?
Potentially, yeah. Especially travel and some of those things, I would say, yeah.
Absolutely.
See, I don't know. I think it's kind of a bad thing maybe, because like it's almost like you have to, it's almost like kind of pressuring people into getting the vaccination. I just think people should do whatever they truly want with the vaccination. I feel like it takes away kind of like the right, and I think you should just like kind of trust trust the person in general. I know some people will lie, but like at the end of the day, it's like it's their decision. If they want the vaccination, they don't have to get it. Why should we feel like we pressure them? I mean, I got the vaccination, that was my choice. People don't need to go get it out there, and it's just really up to your opinion at the end of the day. And I think it's just like a bit rude if you're like, oh, you don't have the vaccination. It's like you don't really like, it's almost like they don't really want you in a way. It's like kind of like pushing you away in a way. So that's what I think.
Wow. Yeah. Very well put. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm vaccinated, so I wouldn't really mind doing it, but I know other people would probably mind doing it. So, I mean, I just do the thing that would make the least people mad.
Ooh, okay. What do you think that would be? Do you think
probably just not asking?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of like trusting that if people are coming in without a mask that they are vaccinated?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of dangerous, but that's probably the best way to do it.
I guess it definitely depends on the place. Like if there's usually a huge crowd, I think, yeah, you should, because the Delta variant is going around. And even if you wear a mask, you're not totally protected, but if you know most people around you are vaccinated, you feel more safe and secure. But I know some people will refuse, and I don't think that should stop them from getting into the place. But I think that the safer thing to do is ask people to show proof of vaccination.
Understood. You think it's for a greater good?
I think it is for a greater good, and I think it's just kind of a personal problem if you get offended, but that's all I got.
Perfect.
It's up to each individual person, so do what you think is best for your community. I think is the best thing. So like masking, like I am double vaxxed from like Pfizer already, but I still wear masks just so kids see them and think it's a good idea. But I get as a kid, it's hard to, when you're around your friends and stuff, you want to be the guy that doesn't care that much, you know? Like you want to be...
It's a cool thing to do, yeah.
It's a cool thing to do. So like, I wear them, but it's one of those things, like I've taken a hoodie off and pulled an earring out before and it came out just fine. So like, it's one of those things, just trust those around you. And I think it's something that we don't have enough information on yet to fully come to a conclusion.
No one knows who you are. Your identity's safe because you got that mask on.
Like how the Nazis used to do it back in the day to prove that you're not Jewish.
Oh, you had to wear that star, right? Or something, a star to prove you're Jewish and something else to prove you're not?
Oh yeah,
Right.
exactly like that.
I think it depends on the context. If it's going to be an event that has like a ton of people, then maybe just for now at least. But if it's just like going into just like a restaurant or a Target or something, I don't think so. I think I understand it a little more when it comes to like concerts and big venues where there's going to be like hundreds of people, you know? But otherwise, I don't really think just like small places, especially like here, or just shops in general really should. So it's kind of a yes and no, like it just sort of depends, I guess. But I guess that's kind of how I see it for now, so.
Right.
Personally, I feel like just to take extra precautions since like COVID cases are getting like really high, that business is right to ask for like proof to like see if that person is vaccinated, because people could easily lie, and whole time, you know, when you lie, stuff tends to just get bad. So just to take precaution, yeah, I think they should.
In order to enter businesses, like public businesses, restaurants, bars, and museums, things like that, should you be required to show proof of vaccination in order to get in?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not, okay.
Absolutely not. No, we're of the opinion of private entities have the right to conduct their businesses as they want to. That's what our Constitution is predicated upon, is sovereign rights over private individuals, states to dictate in their own territories and jurisdictions how they want to operate. There shouldn't be coming anything from the federal level downwards but then specifically the separation of private entities from public entities. So honestly, if a business owner wants to be a bigot, for example, and say, hey, I only want to sell to white people, or I only want to sell to black people, or I only want to sell to Asian people, he should have the right to do that because he's a private individual. He's a private individual with a private enterprise. He's not harming anyone, so the civil authorities really have no right. If he's a bigot, he's cutting his own throat.
Right. I love that you use the extreme example because it is his choice, but he of course runs the risk of being ran out of business for
Exactly right, and that's the beauty of a competitive market, is that, and that's something actually people don't know. I'm reading this book by Thomas Sowell. He's an American economist, and people during the civil rights era, when discrimination was at its highest, it wasn't rare to see a racist business owner. They didn't have policies that segregated as much as we do today, because they knew that in a competitive market they'd be cutting their own throat, they'd be losing business. And
you can't be racist in big business, right?
You can be.
You can be, but it's not going to be your back.
You can't act it out. That's the main thing, right? Is you can hold all sorts of convictions personally, but in a free market, in a competitive market, can those then manifest? Because everyone's dollar is green, right? Whether you're black, white, Asian, so you're going to want to get any consumers you can. And so if you're a bigot, if you're a racist, you can't enact those policies in your workplace. So not only are we advocates of the private enterprise running itself freely, but we're also Christians too. And we believe that God gives men and women the right to conduct their lives as they want to. And then if they are bigots, there's a judgment day at the end where God will judge everyone by their moral codes, by what they've done, by the standard of Jesus Christ. But he gives men and women the right to operate their lives as they want to, as image bearers of God. And so again, that's kind of, it take a little bit more to unpack that, but that's the foundation of where we're coming from, that people should have the right to conduct their businesses, and in a free capitalistic market that'll sort through the bigots and the non-bigots. Circle back to the vaccine. So taking, like what you said, taking the extreme and extrapolating it here, it's like, no, you shouldn't. If a consumer doesn't feel comfortable going into a business that isn't mandating vaccines, they have the right to go and shop somewhere else. That's fine. And likewise, a business owner should have the right to conduct his business as he wants to. So no, to answer your question simply. But does that make sense?
All right, that's a wrap. That was a lot of fun. We had a wide range of interesting, intelligent, and unique opinions on that issue. If you enjoy this video and videos like this, please let me know so I can make more by liking and sharing this video with your friends. And if you want to contribute to the production of videos like this, maybe help me to get an actual microphone instead of a wood stick with a cheap mic on the end of it, please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Paul Garcia. As always, thank you for watching, God bless, and have a great week.